Thank you. Can you hear me? One, two, one, two, one, two. Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, do you still call yourself and those that work with you as quote unquote corruption fighters? Do you still actually call yourself as corruption fighters?
Well, I suppose that's the function of forensics for justice. So I suppose you could say that.
I'm asking this because there is a notion that those that call themselves corruption fighters, they feel that they are enjoying some kind of immunity from the operation of the law. What would be your take on that one? To a point actually where they feel that the being a corruption fighter actually it actually absolves you from any criminal prosecution.
Well, if that is the case, I've yet to see the evidence of that because, as I said previously, I spent 88 days on 6 trials and 140 days preparing for that 88 days on 6 trials. And of the 6 trials, I was acquitted on 4. One, the state withdrew, and the other one was struck off the roll. So I don't think I was immune at all. In fact, I was a target.
Why would you then consider any criminal prosecution against you as a corruption, fighter, amounting to state capture?
Chair, if you look at the DPCI judge report, which is there's two such reports, and if you look at the DPCI judge reports, and there were, by the way, 2 separate judges because the DPCI judge changed between the first report and the second report. And the second report dealt with the allegations I had made, and the first report dealt with the allegations that Colonel Kutsia had made. And both those DPCI judge reports, which cumulatively was 5 years of investigation and scathing findings. So that's the 2 DPCI judge reports. But if we then go and look at the judgments that the magistrate court in Randburg, when the trumped-up cases against me on which I was acquitted, and the judgment in the trumped-up case against me in the Kempton Park Court, upon which I was acquitted, both of the judges in the Randburg Regional Court made scathing findings against the state. And they made it clear that the state had gone above and beyond the call of duty in targeting me. And the Randburg, the Kempton Park magistrate also made scathing findings against the police for targeting me. So I think those judgments are a matter of fact, and they speak for themselves.
Well, thank you. Let's look at the Camille Drift matter. Are you familiar with that?
I am.
Yes. What was happening there? Who were those people who were charged there, and for what? What were the charges leveled against them?
Are you talking about the Camildrift case that I opened, or the Camildrift case that the counter investigation team opened against me?
I'm talking about the Camille Drift case, which Advocate Mashuha came and actually talked about here.
Yeah. So, in the first place, Advocate Mashuha based all of his false allegations on the counter investigation that was carried out by the Mabula team. And those statements contained within the docket, we have been able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that those statements were procured by police officials who wrote the statements for the individuals and told them to sign them. And that's what they did. And the evidence they produced in those statements, unfortunately, they lied. And we can prove that because we have the voice recordings of the meetings we had at Sable Hills estate. And we have the voice recording of the meeting we had with the builder, the contractor, Frikkie de Blanche. And we have the voice recording of the meeting that we had with Alvin Dupré. And when you put all those voice recordings together and play them or read the transcripts, you can see that there's the transcripts are diametrically opposed to the purported evidence that's contained within the Camildrift docket, the docket that was opened by Mabula. Now, when Mabula opened the docket, he did it in January 2017. And 3 weeks later, miraculously, based on these trumped up statements with no exercise, normally what happens is a person becomes under the attention of a prosecutor. The prosecutor will instruct the investigating officer to go take a warning statement. That's called audi alteram partem. In other words, get the other person's version of events. None of that took place with the fake docket that was opened by the Northwest team. In fact, that docket was open for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was to interrupt and stop the investigation into a corrupt acting chief of police, namely General Pashani.
How far is the investigation on that docket now? Where is it now? Where is this case now?
The docket was struck off the roll 9 years ago, and it's only been resuscitated. And actually, the case itself hasn't been resuscitated, but the docket has been brought back to be looked at and assessed as a result of the interactions between certain members of this committee and the new NDPP. And I wrote to the new NDPP, and he supplied me with a reply. And the reply made it clear that all the matters that I had raised in that reopening, or it's not the reopening of the docket, but the reassessment of the docket. What I, in fact, said, I don't know what happens when I lean like this, it makes a noise. When I wrote to the NDPP, when I wrote to the NDPP, I asked him to take into consideration a whole lot of other cases which had not been considered. And those cases, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 other dockets, which are directly related to the cases that we opened against General Pashlani. And the Director of Public Prosecutions wrote back to me. And when he wrote back to me,
Thank you.
he made it clear that all of those would be taken into account.
Now that you have actually mentioned the dockets that were opened against General Pashlani, I was actually going to ask you whether you are familiar with the group that called themselves Security WhatsApp Group. And and if so, what is the relationship between the Pashlani task team and the Security WhatsApp Group? When Mr. Gabinde was here, he made mention of the existence of a Pashlani task team. Are you familiar with those two groups?
I'm aware of what happened. I didn't have WhatsApp, but I'm aware that a WhatsApp group was formed and it was called Security. And this was formed after both myself and the late Mandla Mashlangu received